Well, welcome to Macedonia Park. It's a nice afternoon with a bit of wind. Under 20s picked up a 4-1 win in the fixture before first grade. Well, hello and welcome to Macedonia Park for round 29 of the National Premier League's Men's New South Wales for Wollongong Wolves against Western Sydney Wanderers. These teams have increasingly slim chances of featuring in finals football, placing all the emphasis on getting a result today. My name is Tim Gibson. Now here are the teams. And starting with the Wolves, Max Kunyal is in goal. 2, Jake Shaked. 5, Banri Kanozumi. 8, Sebastian Duarte. 10, Flynn Madden. Number 11 is Sebastian Hernandez. 15, Christian Butkovic. 18, Kazuya Yamamura. 24, Lachlan Scott. Number 25, Alex Mashivecchio. And 44 is Yuto Fujita. Over to the Wanderers now, and Tristan Vidakovic is in goal. 4, Ricky Franson. 5, Jesse Cameron. 6 is Oscar Morrison. 7, Alat Abdul Rahman. 8, Corey Da Cruz. 9, Awan Lawal. Number 10, Jai Rose. 17, Joshua Satenich. 30, Anderson Black. And 31 is Emil Katrub. This afternoon marks the Kids Wish charity match, which we just saw a few players taking the field and getting to kick the ball on Macedonia Park, and the Wolves will play with their purple socks. This has been a tradition for the Wolves over the past few years, and it's been a great turnout for this one this afternoon. Wolves still will play in their red kit, while the Wanderers in their white kit. Referee is Tom Selden, and we're about ready to go on what's become a nice sunny afternoon with a cool breeze. Well, who's going to make the most of this game? There's still a slim chance of finals football for both these teams, especially with several of the teams ahead of these sides dropping points yesterday. It'll give them a chance with 3 points to shoot right up the table to put themselves in the best possible position to take out a finals place on the final day of the season next weekend. Now the Wolves finally ended what was an 11-game winless run with that last gasp victory over Rockdale. And they'll want to push up from their current position down towards the bottom places. Currently 13th, but 3 points would send them all the way up to 8th potentially. Same can be said for the Wanderers. Here is Jai Rose, finds Abdul Rahman. Neat interplay from them, and Rose gets it back. Butkovic takes no chances to clear that away. The young defender who had a sensational impact on his starting debut against Rockdale Illendon, scoring an absolute screamer. And he's been really feeling his way into the first grade setup, and another example of younger players getting an opportunity under coach Luke Wilkshire. Had been impressive in the 20s, but in recent weeks with the injuries and other issues they've had, the Wolves, Butkovic has gotten a chance to play consistently for first grade and giving a good account of himself early on. As for the Wanderers, they are level with the Wolves coming into this game, and given what the Wolves had done in terms of their form to start the year, it's perhaps a surprise that it's gotten there. The Wolves are right at the top of the table, while the Wanderers are sitting in the mid-table. Now they're both level on points. Relegation's no longer a concern for them, but they can now start to look up the table. They have suffered 3 defeats, though, in their last 5 games, so this afternoon they'll want to get things back on track. Rahman looking to drive inside, doesn't quite come off, but Rose can keep going. That's lovely footwork, and Shaked's interception was vital. Yamamura, that's a giveaway. Jai Rose can look to try and clip the ball in towards Lawal. Kunyal puts his hand on the ball though. Here's Sebastian Duarte going over the top for Mascivecchio. Now, one area the Wanderers certainly haven't struggled in is goal scoring. 52 this season, which is the second most in the league, coming into round 29. And there have been some impressive results for them as well. 5-0 victory over Rockdale this season, and they backed that up with a 6-0 win against Sydney FC during the year. And that'll be something the Wolves will have to focus on. But first, Mascivecchio skips away nicely and wins the free kick. That'll be an early warning for Emil Katrib, who, lucky he didn't get a yellow card there given the promising nature of that attack, but we are still very early on here, inside the first 5 minutes. Referee eager to avoid any early cards. Fujita standing over the ball now for the Wolves. Bit of wrestling in the box, and Fujita goes towards that near post. A couple of instances now with Lachlan Scott getting into, as I mentioned, wrestling matches. He'll be an important figure up front against his former side. Came through the Wanderers Academy and made it all the way through to the A-League, Scott, before coming back to his local club, the Wolves, where he's been captain for most of the years he's been here. Hasn't been his most prolific season this year, but his influence over the team has been as important as ever. Here's Fujita. Fujita carries on. Duarte has a bit of space if he can pick him out. Chooses to continue and wriggle through to get across in towards Scott. Here's Madden with a strike. Was well set up by Scott for Madden, but got his shot all wrong in the end. These teams played out a 0-0 draw earlier on in the year. Not the most exciting of results, but that was one of few occasions where the Wanderers have failed to score. And the way this game has started, you'd hope there might be a little bit more excitement. Here's a ball over the top towards Lawal, who's brought it down nicely and gets a shot away. Flies over the top as well, but he's the danger man for Western Sydney. 20 goals this campaign. 5 goals in his last 3 starts as well. Came off the bench against St George FC last round. And he is still leading the Golden Boot race at this stage. And he'll want to add to that this afternoon. Mascivecchio turns nicely. Forwards is Duarte. Mascivecchio gets it back. Played into Scott. Holds it up well. Fujita couldn't bring that down. Lawal. Good work, and now the ball goes wide. Options to cross here. Wanderers working it down the right side. Now there is a bit of a breeze, so the ball will hold up on occasion. Fujita breaks away from that challenge ample space through midfield. It's been end-to-end so far. Duarte slows things down. Madden rolled into Scott. Back to Madden, who got the touch initially, but was unable to continue his path forward. Here's Morrison. Ball played in behind for Katrib to chase, who's taken a tumble. No free kick given. Was Ricky Franson's ball over the top, and that right channel has provided a bit of space on 2 occasions now. Duarte, ball bounces away. The Wolves look to press. Wanderers look to try and get out of trouble. And foul by Duarte on Katrib. Morrison finds Frenson. Is primarily holding possession in this game. The Wolves happy to let them have it and try to pick off their mistakes. And pays off on that occasion. Duarte towards Scott. His initial header doesn't find its target. Now Lual. Gyros look to get away from Yamamura. Butkovic finds Hernandez in a wide position, skips around his defender initially and goes to cross under some significant pressure from Jesse Cameron, but the Wolves can play on down the left. That initial burst from Hernandez highlighting the danger that he presents when you leave him one-on-one with the fullback, and he'll look to do the same again here. Cameron, though, defends that one much more comfortably. Abdul Rahman plays it infield. Gets another touch. Now the Wanderers can look to play the ball in behind. Abdul Rahman has a bit of time to think about what he wants to do just on the edge of the box. Butkovic defending and clears it away. Here he is again. Abdul Rahman. This time crosses towards Lawal. It wasn't too far away from the striker. With 2 good passages of play down the left. Wide areas are looking promising for the away side. Zumi, while gets a challenge in, and the Wolves will have to play out from that corner. Rose. Work from Scott. Ball goes wide for Hernandez. He'll look to use his speed and carry the ball up the field. Skips around Cameron once again. Receives more contact. Deemed not enough for a foul, and ball is back with the Wanderers. Abdul Rahman escapes into that channel once more. Looks to cut it back. Shaked covered well. Scott rolls well. And more calls for a yellow card. Another warning though. Vegeta for Madden. Scott picks it up. Sprays it for Duarte, who can take his time and potentially pick out a cross. Chooses the short option in Masciavecchio. Madden. Scott. Ball spins towards him, but he couldn't control it. Cameron. Cops a bump from Hernandez. Likely in frustration over the past couple of challenges that weren't given as a free kick for the Wollongong winger. Morrison. Looks over the top. Lawal chasing down Ken Izumi. Franson all the way back to Vidakovic. Tempo of this game has died down slightly since those opening few minutes, but consistent theme is Western Sydney having the ball and the Wolves looking to rely on counter-attacking opportunities. Katrib runs out of play for him. And Yamamura has a problem. They won't want to lose their star Japanese midfielder. He did miss a few games with injury earlier in the season and also missed a game through suspension. The Wolves no doubt miss him. Miss his experience, and he's also provided a solid goal scoring threat on occasion. Versatile as well, as played primarily in midfield, but has filled in at centre back with limited numbers in that position for Wollongong. 4 goals this year. Looks like the Wolves will be forced into a change. Marcus Beattie to come on, and Yamamura will take an early leave. Only 18 minutes into this one. Big loss for the Wolves, but BT a competent replacement. Speaking on the versatility front, Marcus Beattie has played just about everywhere for the Wolves. This time he'll be tasked with a midfield position alongside Madden. Ball goes over the top. Cameron clears that away under pressure from Hernandez. Plays it back to Madden, and Kanaizumi gives it back to Butkovic. Fujita, superb, composed touch, but ran into a bit of a hole as Madden plays it forwards for Scott. Spin of the ball, doesn't find Hernandez. Shaked will throw it back up the line, but settled possession for the Wanderers, although they choose to go quickly. Here's Frenson. Scott presses. And Morrison has the ball now. Katrib. Back to Morrison. Cleared away. Beattie's header to Mashivecchio. Duarte. Kunyul. Beattie. Butkovic and Shaked chooses to play it back inside. The Wanderers are pressing well. Butkovic forced to go long. Madden with a good touch, and it's a foul for the Wolves. Hernandez battling with Cameron again. That's proving to be a good tussle on the Wollongong right. Jesse Cameron, who joined from Blacktown City in 2023, 3 goals this season, but has been a sporadic first grade appearer. That's a foul though from Morrison into the back of Mashivecchio. More questions over a yellow card. Get the feeling we're not too far away from the first booking, given the amount of fouls we've seen. Duarte, side for Scott, flicked on for Mashivecchio, who gets a shot away, lacked the power to trouble the Wanderers goalkeeper. Down initially, but was unable to play it forwards. That was well controlled from Kunyul. Ball fired into Scott. Heaps of space again for Duarte out wide, and he'll look to attack the box from this sort of a position. Still going Duarte. Chops back. Finds Masciavecchio. 1-2. Pass goes a little awry, but Madden can keep the attack moving. Beatty. Shaked. Now Hernandez has it. And shoots across early this time. Scott was the initial target, but it'll come all the way out for Masciavecchio. Stood up, not a bad ball, and Lachlan Scott cleared from the line by Ricky Franson. Best chance we've seen so far. The Wolves looking to carry on. Given away. Rose plays it on. Butkovic steps in. Madden tries to be somewhat composed and is drawn into a clever foul, and that will be a yellow card. A clear, promising attack there for the foul on Jai Rose. But it comes after what was the best opportunity of this match so far. Scott's effort cleared from the line by Franson. Setenic keeps it simple. Franson picks out Abdul Rahman. Ball fired into the path of Setenic, who slips in Jai Rose, who's offside, and Corey De Cruz sends it over the top from the cutback. Even though the whistle had already blown. Abdul Rahman. Still got it. Abdul Rahman. Ball goes wide for Katrib. Franson and Cameron has it. Morrison looked to switch, but Shaked wins it. Cameron keeping tight on Hernandez. It's still going for the Wolves, though. Here's Lachlan Scott. Looks to play it across. And the Wollongong Wolves have the lead. It's an own goal from Katribi. Really couldn't have done much about it. Well worked from Wollongong down the right. And once the ball had come across, it was going to be tapped in at the far post regardless. And the Wanderers have had the vast majority of the ball and have had a couple of good chances as well, but it's Wollongong who have the lead. Now the Wanderers will be looking for a reaction as we edge towards the half-hour mark in this game. Madden. Still going Madden. No foul, and the Wanderers will look to play on. Big challenge from Duarte. Fujita. Fujita uses the space on the left. Has Duarte. Masciavecchio. Wollongong to recycle the ball. Butkovic, that was a little short, and Abdul Rahman won't give that up. The defender recovers to clear it for a throw-in. Goes over the top, Shaked heads it, but Abdul Rahman is offside. That bounces up awkwardly, but he gets rid of it quickly enough. Ken Izumi, Madden, Duarte into the channel for Mashivecchio. Resets it to Cameron. Abdul Rahman, who's seen a lot of the ball in this first half, has been one of the more dangerous players. But now comes Katrib. Still worked here, and Abdul Rahman, a bit of a miss hit. Lawal was there. It'll come back out to De Cruz, goes on the outside, good ball. Gyros couldn't get his head to it. Hernandez clears it away, but only as far as Satenic. Cameron stumbles, unfortunately. And Madden picks up the ball. Wins his team a goal kick. Izumi. It's been a challenge for the Wolves to play out sometimes. Wanderers have an organised press, but it's these areas of transition that consistently cause them issues. Shaked wide, and Hernandez looks to cut inside past Cameron. Madden. Hernandez keeps it in, gives it back to Shaked. Here comes that Wanderers press again. Butkovic's turn to play a direct ball forwards. The Wolves will be targeting another goal before the break just to give them somewhat more control. But Scott has played it on quickly for Mashivecchio. Return back to Scott. Beatty, Duarte in the box, gets a ball in. Not a bad area. Vidakovic read it. Got his hands on the ball. He's back. Back once more. Plays a Good pass into Rose. Abdul Rahman turned sharply, but it'll find its way to De Cruz again. Rose loses out. Hernandez can't get around De Cruz, and free kick goes against the Wolves. Wasn't really too much Hernandez could have done there. They'll have to defend this set piece. In Cunil punches. Mashivecchio chases it down, but he won't be able to keep it in. Wanderers throw in. Scott, another piece of defending from him. Fujita won't be able to get on the end of that. Abdul Rahman, neat nutmeg. Here's Rose with a shot. Caught by Cunil. Cunil, who's kept his starting spot following the departure of Daniel Selski a few weeks ago, and has been a really solid player in between the sticks for the Wolves. Has overwhelmingly been a really calming presence back there, and has made some big saves as well. Katrib. That ball floated towards the far post. Back. Abdul Rahman moves it quickly. Gyros. Flag goes up. Zumi heads it, but still on for the Wanderers. Katrib looks to take it around Duarte. Strong defending from Duarte. That touch didn't go as he planned it. Beatty gives it away. Katrib determined defending to get back in and win the ball. Abdul Rahman running it. Shaked gets a foot in and wins it back. He's been a solid performer for the Wolves today. One of their signings that came in the middle of the year, and apart from a short injury absence, has played consistently. Essentially a replacement for Tate Russell, who And Katrib, you'd think now it would be about time for a yellow card following that foul quite early on in the match. That one was of a similar nature, this time prompting a booking from the referee. As I was saying with Shaked, the right full-back for the Wolves, essentially replacing Tate Russell, who was another player out of the Western Sydney Wanderers Academy, but primarily Wollongong based. Now he's moved on back into the A-League. Fujita's ball in. That's a teasing delivery. Is it there for Scott? What a save from Vidakovic from close range, just smothering the angle. Ken Izumi's run was good as well. A little over 5 regular first half minutes to play. What's ultimately been a game of few clear-cut chances. Plenty of opportunities, just the final ball has been missing on occasion. Fujita. Mashivecchio. And now Fujita's delivery towards the far post. Ken Izumi looked to be getting his head onto it. Now, is this going to be a lightning counter-attack for the Wanderers? Duarte needed to commit that foul from a Wollongong perspective. That was a dangerous counter-attacking chance for the Wanderers, who so quickly transitioned from defending that set piece. The Wolves have had to break down a couple of those moments illegally. Madden also on a yellow card for a similar incident earlier on in the match. He's back. Ball in behind for Rose. They run out of room. Wolves have been taking their time on goal kicks. Whether that's a tactic to try and run down the clock even at this early stage is unclear. You'd think they'd still have eyes set on at least another goal in this match. They have been subject to conceding a few goals and seeing teams come back against them. SD Raiders a few weeks ago only had 10 players on the field for most of the match and came back from a half-time deficit to beat the Wolves at this venue. Gets it back. Shifts inside past Katrib. Now Mashivecchio has time to measure across. Headed on. And it will be back in the Wolves' possession with Shaked. Composed play, as he's demonstrated on several occasions in this game. The throw-in's gone against the Wolves, as Jai Rose looks to play on, and it's play on. Well, it was an awkward one there for Jai Rose, who stayed down. Looks to be in serious pain. And there was a degree of confusion from a Wollongong perspective. The assistant referee on the far side indicated it was a Wollongong throw, but the referee decided it was a Wanderers throw-in. Shaked was looking at the assistant referee's decision, and away the Wanderers went. of treatment after what would have been a painful one as he spun on the edge of the box. Around 90 seconds of regular time left in the first half, plus whatever will be added on with this latest delay contributing to that number. The Wanderers haven't wavered from this patient possession approach. The chances have been few and far between for them. Katrib. BT doesn't muck around with that, although it's going to be a corner. Late chance this from a set piece. They play it short. Back. Gives it to De Cruz. Fujita blocks it initially, but it's back with De Cruz. Now it's stood up. Shaked gets an initial touch onto it, but it's still on with Rose. Lawal, and they're patient, but Morrison's efforts deflected over. Good finish to the half this as we learn of 3 additional minutes before the first half concludes. Back, whips it into the box. Kanaizumi heads it away. Mashivecchio clears it further. Still, the Wanderers' pressure will continue. So we're about up with the first of those 3 minutes. It's Morrison. He's the captain of this Western Sydney team. Earned a chance off the bench in that friendly against Chelsea, the English Premier League side, in what was a crazy score in the end, but highlighting how highly the Wanderers do think of him as Abdul Rahman wins Western Sydney yet another corner at the end of this first half. It's been solid sustained pressure from the away side, but can they find a critical moment and draw level heading into the sheds? Scott can only head it on, but BT arrives at it at the far post, cleared away swiftly. But the Wanderers will look to carry on this momentum. Ball in behind for Lawal. Almost perfect, but Butkovic defended it nicely as Mashivecchio looks to take it away. Now Madden gyros, wrestles back and makes a good tackle. Lawal will look to chase it down. Kunyal made the initial contact with it, booted it straight into the on-rushing striker. In the end, it'll be a goal kick. And that could be about it for the Wolves to get into halftime with a slender lead. They'll send it up the field, the Wolves. So that's half-time with the Wolves holding a 1-0 lead over the Western Sydney Wanderers at Macedonia Park. We'll be back in a little over 10 minutes' time for the second half.
Every week, hundreds of thousands of people turn up around football grounds around New South Wales. Parents, kids, refs, coaches and volunteers. Cardiac incidents can happen to anyone at any time on the pitch.
Right now, not every club has a defibrillator.
And the ones that do are not always maintained or ready to use. In a critical moment, with a defib, that could save lives. That's why Football New South Wales, St John Ambulance and Toyota have come together for Every Beat Matters to help clubs around New South Wales to access defibrillators, cover maintenance and build a register so we know exactly where every unit is around the state. All you need to do is buy a ticket through Raffletix. $5 can make a difference. Every ticket goes towards funding defibrillators and maintenance for clubs that need it most. A live fundraising board shows exactly how much is being raised. And every ticket you buy puts you in the draw to win a Toyota Corolla. One ticket, real impact. Help your club be ready when it matters. So buy your ticket today.
Teff was there, but it never quite got to him. Just lifted a little too low for his liking. Back towards the corner kick taker. Dashed onto his left foot. Good ball in. Teff is there. And then the shot from Tatafu is crashed home. What a time for your second goal of the season. With some well above that. Two hands raised. Last time they did that, they led to a goal. Teff is threatening. Wins the header. Williams kept it out so far. And then it's bundled home. The set piece. So threatening.
Cunningham is making that run in behind. Can Scutteridge find him? He can. Cunningham looking for someone to cut it back for. It's with McStay. A lovely goal by St George FC. Delivery is on its way from Casella towards the far post. This time it's not it down and not it in. And a massive goal for Isaac Cunningham. Lawal gets up for the header, it falls back and it's a good shot and it's gone all the way in. And the Wanderers have a goal back through Bradley Marzal.
He's in behind Bevan now. Ortiz, can he step inside and shoot? Steps inside, steps outside, Presley Ortiz drives it in low and opens the scoring here at Lambert Park. Plays it forward for Conestogo. He's in an absolute acre of space here, Michael Conestogo. Everybody is backed off. And he's unleashed Segredo. Segredo has got Ortiz and Jordan. Ball is sprayed in for Presley Ortiz! They would have played in cup runs before. And here is Kuta floating it over the top. It's been left. It's Fong, and Fong dinks the ball in there. 3-0. Here again is Hannigan and Shuriaga. They're at it again. And Rag drives it in low. It's half cleared. It's 3/4 cleared. It's fully cleared. The shot is in for Chianese. They have got themselves back into it.
Burgess trying to turn one around the corner, but it's met by Takami. Now Petratos looking to stretch his legs. He'll have a go as well. Petratos! Oh my word! Costa Petratos has just about taken the net off with that strike. Couldn't find the feet of Callum Keeley. This time it will though! Turned home by Kobayashi. Here's Kobayashi, who of course scored the second. Looking to deliver one. It's a teasing delivery for Petratos! 3-0. Corner will be swung in. Near post delivery, flicked header. Petratos, bouncing ball, struck sweetly into the bottom corner. Costa Petratos has his third.
To Armanakis, who broke over to the left. Armanakis, the return ball, caught in his arm, promising first touch. Can he free the feet for a strike? And it's tapped in by Callahan. Sydney Olympic take the lead. Veers away from the blue shirts in the Olympic defence, and he'll put in a cross of his own here. It runs to the back post. Wells steadies, strikes and scores. And Sydney United are level. Tillo. Krislovic alone, hand up top, needs support. Here comes Mason Wells, storming forward Wells. Can he find a shot? It's deflected, it hits the crossbar, and it's knotted in. Sydney United have struck twice in the second half, and Michael Krislovic stoops to the header to make it 2-1.
Outswinger comes in. Header's there, and it's a goal. And Marconi hit the front through Cameron Windust. Rising at the back post.
Ball, lays it back to Fujita, better angle. Might be a little set-piece routine here. And the shot is an absolute screamer from Christian Butkovic. On a couple of occasions, they go long in the direction of Najjar. It falls for Moody Najjar. Instant response by Rockdale. Yes, he can. Tries his best with the back heel. Mastrovecchio goes in the direction of Fujita. Rides the challenge here. Yuto Fujita in on goal. He's just holding it up and waiting for support. He gets it in King. He might go himself, and he may have just won the game with a brilliant solo goal. Yuto Fujita may have just ended Wollongong's horror 3 months in.
And welcome back to the second half at Macedonia Park. The Wolves leading the Wanderers 1-0. An own goal from Wanderers fullback Katrib is the difference at the moment, but Western Sydney finished the game with a flurry. They couldn't find the breakthrough, but showed ample promise to suggest there'll be a serious challenge to the Wolves' lead across the next 45 minutes. But first, Scott looks to fizz one in towards Hernandez. Abdul Rahman. Shaked stays with him. Abdul Rahman forced to go back. Now Kunyal will clear it. Scott. Hernandez. A little overhit. That would have been a good chance. This was much the theme of the first half, with Western Sydney patiently holding possession while Wollongong looked to pounce on the counter-attack. And then there were these moments, like we're seeing here, where Western Sydney do find the space. Ball comes in, Kanaizumi clears it away. Duarte sends it out for the throw-in. The Wolves were, of course, forced into an early substitution. Kazuya Yamamura going off with injury. An important part of this Wolves team. But they adapted well. Beatty coming into the midfield, and they had their chances as well. Appears to be no substitutions at half-time. It's a good run from Beatty through the middle, and Hernandez has skipped away comfortably, and that's a simple yellow card decision. Clearly impeded. Josh Satenich goes into the book. Switches towards Duarte. Katrib was alert to it. Scott on for Mashivecchio. The touch was heavy. Abdul Rahman was some space on the left, but back has it. All in behind that De Cruz gets onto. That ball misplaced. Fujita tidies up for the Wolves. Scott back to Fujita. Here's a chance, Lawal. Satinich. back. Gyros look to play an early ball forwards, but it's cut out. Ball back though with Western Sydney in defence. Vidakovic under pressure from Masciavecchio, who's won the ball in a great position. Hernandez goes for a shot and finds the goal. Wollongong have a 2-goal lead. Calamity at the back for Western Sydney, but delight for the home side. And now they are in a really strong position to take all 3 points in this one. Only 6 or so minutes into the second half. Really, the Wanderers with their own undoing. Masciavecchio didn't give that ball up and ended up snatching it off the Western Sydney goalkeeper. And Hernandez, who showed glimpses of quality throughout this game, has a goal. Press comes again. Hernandez, that was his 5th goal of the season. His last one came against SD Raiders, which coincidentally was the match where Wollongong gave up a lead when they were only facing 10 players. They'll be wary of not repeating that in what remains of this game. But that is a reminder, it certainly isn't game over. Looked to strike up and hit Beatty's arm, but we'll play on with Hernandez. Madden. Masciavecchio looked to play in Fujita. That pass was misinterpreted. Zumi down the line. Morrison's header. The pressing isn't stopping for the Wolves, and you'd think there'd be more opportunities for them to win the ball high up, but Abdul Rahman first. Always runs at his defender with real purpose, and that will always be dangerous. Fujita for Scott. Kanaizumi, brilliant pass towards Hernandez. He couldn't bring it down. It's been an exciting opening 10 minutes in this game, to the second half that is. Wollongong holding the 2-goal advantage. Hernandez works back in and wins the ball. Long throw in from Jesse Cameron right into the box. Franson wins the first contest. Western Sydney moving the ball forwards with greater urgency, now facing a 2-goal deficit.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's only 7 left in the 100 clock. $20 will get you in.
Gyros, ball overhit.
89.91 and 94, 97, 8 numbers. It's one of those numbers where lucky ones come along and get it done before we do the final draw.
Duarte, that nearly worked out for Mashivecchio. Scott rolls well for Jeter. Gets the pass wrong, but it'll still fall to Beattie. Now Hernandez plays Beattie. That nearly ran out of play for Hernandez. That did, though. Lawal heads on Abdul Rahman. Shaked trying to win that ball back. Good run from Lawal. Here's an opportunity for the striker. Great first touch. And Kunyal with an outstanding save with his feet. And it looks like Western Sydney will look to their bench before the hour mark with 3 substitutions. Well, that's the best chance they've had in this game. Excellent ball over the top, and Lawal did everything right to put himself in a shooting position, only to be thwarted by a top save from Wollongong's goalkeeper. Franson doing his best winger impression. Still has the ball, though, the defender, and wins his side a corner. That was good work. Bit awkward with limited options for him. We should see those changes for the visitors after Back's set piece. Headed on by Scott. It's there for Lawal. Combination of Beattie and Kunyal prevents it going over the line. Chances are coming for Western Sydney. Strong response to falling 2 goals behind. Kunyal punches it. Hernandez will look to get there first, but Satinic got there. Hernandez, though, arrow, accurate pass for Madden. Fajita's running through. 1-on-1 for Fajita. The flag's gone up for offside. Well, that seems unlikely. But regardless, we'll see the subs for the Wanderers now. De Cruz is coming off, as is Satinic. Lawal looks to be another to be subbed off. coming on. Giorgio Hasarati, one of the changes. As is now Johnny Pavlovic, who has the ball. The other change. Get to in a moment as Scott looks to get on the end of that pass forwards. That was unfortunate for the Wolves. It looked like Fujita had timed his run perfectly. Flag went up, much to his dismay. Marko Radovancevic has come on, and Scott, though, breaks away down the right. Can the Wolves really put themselves in a good position? Here's Beattie with a shot, which finds the bottom corner, and Wollongong have their third. The early substitute has put the Wolves in a great position. Could this be the late flurry that this team needed to potentially go on and snatch the latest of finals positions on the final day next weekend? Fujita was not too far away from finding that third goal moments ago, but Beattie has put the ball into the net, and Wollongong, with just over an hour played, have a 3-goal advantage. Wollongong haven't otherwise looked to their bench other than the early BT substitute. BT back. Good pressing and cleared away just about. Kunyal called for that, but it's still on for the Wanderers. Here's Rose. Rather shanked finish in the end. Back on for a move down the right side for Western Sydney, despite the fact they're 3-0 down. Have had chances in this game and the bulk of the ball, but it's these counter-attacking chances that have been so deadly. Scott's pass for Hernandez slows him up. Bit of frustration just starting to creep in for Western Sydney. Now Abdul Rahman. Radovancevic plays it back towards Anderson back. Ricky Franson has it. Radovan-Cevic. He's that pass that Emil Katrib was chasing down, couldn't get there. As the sun begins to get a little lower in the sky, and what's now become a rather icy wind, but this result only heats things up for the Wolves, with the side now looking at the prospects of a potential finals place if they can win on the final day of the season and results go their way ahead of them. Good tackle from Scott. Switches it for Mascivecchio. Good touch from Morrison. Brings things under control. Rose. That pass again doesn't find its target. That's been an increasingly consistent issue for the visitors today. There is still plenty of time left in this game, only midway through the second half. So there's still somewhat of a prospect of a comeback. The first goal will be the most important. They can build the momentum from there, but for now, Wollongong will be feeling comfortable, especially when they press like this. Mascivecchio for Scott. Scott looks to play it into Hernandez's path. He was clearly pulled back there, Scott, and he gets the free kick. I think that impacted his ability to play the ball into Hernandez's path, but they'll get the free kick nonetheless. BT headed away by Franson. Now the counter-attack. Radovan-Cevic. Katrib.
Massive thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The last statistics of the last numbers, I should say, of the 100 players that sold out. Well done. And,
Goal kick for the Wolves. The Wolves are preparing at least two changes. One of those is Dylan Ryan, who's had a few injuries in recent weeks. Will come on for what remains to shore up the Wollongong backline. Scott has really played playmaker for the Wolves and has gotten through a lot of work. Madden. Beatty. Back to Beatty. The other change for the Wolves, it's going to be Oliver Morgan to come on. Wait to see the players coming off. Will be Christian Butkovic and also Flynn Madden is going to come off. Butkovic has put in another solid display at the back. Played with real maturity and has taken his opportunity with both hands, you'd have to say, over the last few weeks. Be replaced by Dylan Ryan in defence, and the other change, Oliver Morgan coming into midfield for Madden in what looks to be a straight swap. Dylan Ryan with his first bit of defending to do. Duarte. Will be about managing what's left of this game for the Wolves. And then looking towards Manly next weekend, also at home, to conclude the season and potentially snatch a late finals place. Manly are currently in 5th, but they're already too far ahead, or rather 3 points ahead, but the Wolves would need to overturn a serious goal differential to overtake them. Spirit in 6th, and Sydney FC also on 40 points in 7th. The Wolves would be just 2 points away from 6th place. If they can win this one, and then if they win on the final day, they'll be hoping for some positive results. Spirit have a challenging game away to Marconi. But first, can the Wanderers knit something together? Cameron's shot, big deflection. Cunha reacted well. While Sydney FC are away to Sydney Olympic, who will finish towards the bottom of the table. But the NPL has a habit of being unpredictable. But first, here's Abdul Rahman looking to take it away from Ken Izumi. Here's a shot. Top save from Cunha. Two more subs for the Wanderers following that latest chance from Johnny Pavlovich. Emil Katrib is one of those. Ewan Gasowski will come on, and Alat Abdul Rahman is the other player to come off. And he'll be replaced by Bradley Marsal. Cameron's long throw. Dylan Ryan's headed away, but Rose has it. Mashivecchio fouled. Hernandez. No foul given against Cameron. And now the Wanderers have it down the left. Jai Rose running at Shaked. Plays it to back, but doesn't get it back. Franson. Shaked gets a touch. Still on for the Wanderers, but that falls to Cunha. Ball in behind. Kunyal gets there first. No offside flag. It was Hasarati chasing that down. Shaked. Mentioned it earlier, but he's had a solid game at right back today. Back. Given away. Wanderers just relentlessly press, and it's meant the Wolves have been forced to go long. Oliver Morgan, that was a tough one to take under pressure from both sides. Dylan Ryan gets a foot in. Now back. Duarte clears it, but the ball will come back into the box. Shaked gets it further away. Scott drops off and has space. Hernandez just waiting for a ball in behind. Was probably going to be offside, even if it did find him. Another couple of changes. Hernandez is one of the players coming off. As is Lachlan Scott. William Robard will come on. As will Liam Ball. Robard, who has started to get some more first grade minutes, has had a prolific season in the under-20s with a fair few goals. The former South Coast Flame junior. Kunyal calm under pressure despite the pressing. That runs away from Masivecchio. Scott, Fajita, that space in behind Jesse Cameron has looked to be exploited regularly. A consequence of the Wanderers pushing more numbers forwards as they seek any sort of a route back into the game with 10 regular minutes remaining. Western Sydney, this does confirm they won't be playing finals football if they can't win this match, which seems rather unlikely. But it's still been a reasonably positive year for them. Not just the individual results, but have not been shy of goal scoring and have generally held the ball for most of this game, which is a testament to the quality of these young players, that they can force the Wolves to be so defence first. Robard looks to try and put Morrison under pressure, but the Wanderers captain headed it back to his goalkeeper. Ball comes in, BT clears. Johnny Pavlovich has no doubt been a consistent threat for Western Sydney since coming on. Seven goals this season, just the one in first grade though, but that highlights does have ample quality to cause issues, as does Jai Rose, who's been all energy in this match. And the foul goes against Duarte, who seems relatively confident that he got the ball. Rose takes on the free kick, deflection, almost dipped under the crossbar. Ball in towards the far post. Counter attack now. Mastiavecchio takes it away. Liam Ball and William Robard providing support for now. Cut out by Pavlovich. So for Western Sydney, this leaves them in 11th position on 35 points. Finals football was 5 points away heading into today, meaning they won't be able to jump that gap. Next weekend, they conclude their season away to Blacktown City, who are also on 35 points, meaning even just a draw would ensure they finished above the historic NPL club, which is a worthy accolade of mention, even though it's been a challenging season for Blacktown City, a side usually fighting at the top of the league. Jai Rose. Another amazing run through midfield that comes to nothing in the end. Less than 5 regular minutes of the game to play, and additional time will be added on at the end of that. Ultimately, it looks like the Wolves will hold on to their 3-0 win and make it back-to-back wins following the late dramatic win against Rockdale Illingdon last round. It was Yuto Fujita's winning goal that made the difference, and he's had a habit of scoring important goals since joining the Wolves. First though, Pavlovic. BT wins it. Pavlovic gets the ball back and turns it around quickly. Rose. Anderson back. Jesse Cameron plays it back. And now Western Sydney will look to play a more direct ball. Ken Izumi's cut that out though. Pushed wide. Blocked by Duarte. Anderson back. Ricky Franson. Good turn and a shot rolled into Kunyal's gloves. Rado Vancevic, who has had a couple of opportunities since coming on as a substitute. Morgan, Shaked, Robard. Tries to cross it, cut out, and Western Sydney will try to take it the other way. Vancevic couldn't roll a touch, but it's back with Jesse Cameron. Foul by Fujita on Rose. We've got 3 more minutes left in this match. Meaning the result is pretty much set. Western Sydney will hope to go home with some form of consolation.
Please feel free to stick around, and the players will be along the fence line to look after all those early runs.
Gets it back from himself there. Rado Vancevic. Johnny Pavlovich. Shots that Kunyul gets down to. He's had to make a few saves, nothing too troubling other than Awan Lawal's effort that he saved with his feet at a time that would have made it interesting. Now the third goal's gone in. It changed the context. Bradley Marsall can't keep it in, or does just about, and in the end it gets his team a throw in beyond halfway. Taken quickly. And it's going to be a yellow card for one of Wollongong's substitutes in Oliver Morgan. About 30 seconds left to play. Jai Rose carries it forwards into the box. Cut back Beatty was on hand. Full time, Wollongong Wolves with a 3-0 win against Western Sydney Wanderers. My name is Tim Gibson. Thank you for tuning in.